Hi everyone. I have a very special guest with me today. Uh, I'm being joined by Sudhir Kundar. Sudhir is a 30-year plus experienced professional from telecommunication, FFCG, retail, and ICT background. I welcome Sudhir to be part of this as our developer community podcast initiative. I in a sense thank him for his time on a last working day of the year perhaps. So grateful to him for being here with us. So just to get started, if you could in a quick introduction of yours, give us a quick introduction of yours, and then we take it up from there.
Sure. First of all, thanks a lot for having me over here, to you as well as to your team. And I hope I make this worthwhile for your listeners in large. And let me wish you and all of the listeners a very happy, prosperous, connected new year as we get into it within the next 2 days. So, if I have to tell you a little bit about myself, uh, this has been a 30-year-old roller coaster ride, starting off, as I tell in jest to my uh, colleagues in the German HQ. It started off with a FMCG organization, which was coincidentally based out of Frankfurt, and again, back after 30 years doing the same geography based thing. But over these 30 years, one has been into various verticals, specifically initially with FMCG, retail, then ICT, both B2B, B2C, and telecom for a very long time. Worked in organizations like SIFI, earlier in the consumer business, and then recently in the new avatar of SIFI, followed by Airtel, Tata Teleservices, and Tata Communications as well. Completed 4 years here in DE-CIX as of now, this end of November.
Awesome. And what does your current organization DE-CIX do?
Yeah. So if you see the name, it's got a hyphen in between, so it's called DE-CIX with a whether it is written like C but pronounced with a K. So it is DE-CIX. It's DE stands for Deutsche, and CIX is Commercial Internet Exchange. So we got formed 26 years back out of a small premises within a post office in Germany, where the founding members had this aspiration of making internet an easily accessible service and not being limited only to the creme de la creme of the society. And thankfully, we've been able to maintain that ethos out here in India while we've been able to create this rocket ship out here. So we are the only interconnection platform in its true sense out here, wherein you have internet exchange, cloud exchange, and multiple other services available across a single access port. One of them currently we've launched in Feb is Microsoft Azure peering services. So these are the three services that are available across a single access port, which makes us very unique. And we are relevant both to the internet service providers as well as to the entire SME, SMB enterprise community. And the relevance goes across multiple verticals as well, which I would, time permitting, be able to give you a little dope on as we converse in the next half an hour or so.
Absolutely, sure. If one has to kind of request you to, in a very simplified manner, explain how does DE-CIX, I hope I pronounced it right, now work with both, you said internet or in organizations and let's say
Yes.
in SMBs, like, yeah.
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 So
How do, yeah.
So let me make it as simplistic as possible. Uh, if today you have to fetch any data, under the normal circumstances, you would do a lookup for uh, Skill India. You would need to go onto a Google search, and it would traverse the entire World Wide Web and come back to you. There is a lot of latency that would come into picture. There is a lot of internet bandwidth that would get consumed. In place of that, today we have a more efficient, resilient ease of doing business in terms of that you'll be in a position to fetch data across a cross connect wherever your infrastructure is, which means that today if you look up for Skill India, 140 times faster than the time you take to blink, the data is in front of you. So on the A end, you have the internet service providers who typically enable services for you and me as we use this internet while we are connected as of now. And on the B end, you have the Googles and Facebooks and Microsofts of the world who are also on the same platform. So an interconnection platform typically would enable this cross-connect based service to be used both by enterprises as well as internet service providers, thereby bringing down their cost of operation, but also bringing in humongous amount of efficiency in the latencies that become a currency in today's time. So that's probably putting it in a simplistic form. Jumping on to the enterprise grade services, there are a lot of enterprises even today who use my peering services specifically for their own applications, which normally we don't delve into as far as my job of providing a robust, reliable infrastructure is concerned, is what we do. And based on their need, then we get into helping them out with designing a structured solution and orchestrating a success layer for them. But otherwise, assume you're a testing and development organization. On day one, you require AWS and Azure Connect to be able to have a efficiently running mechanism at your premises. Now, under normal circumstances, you would have multiple vendors to talk to, multiple contracts to talk about, and multiple manners of connectivity, and obviously depend upon open internet, which is fraught with dangers of IP hijacking, DDoS attack, latency, and stuff like that. Here, we have a cloud exchange which allows you to almost have a plug and play kind of a setup, whereby you can decide what you want without any contractual obligations, early termination charges, and stuff like that. That today my organization is scaling. So I would require 500 meg of AWS Connect and 200 meg of Azure Connect, and it happens over a jiffy. So this brings in tremendous amount of efficiency, both in terms of deliveries and operations. And that is where I feel we've been able to add value to the entire chain of the ecosystem, whether it is a last mile service provider who's been able to monetize this investment, or whether these SMEs, SMBs, and enterprises who've been able to understand and appreciate the multitude of usages that they can do with multi-cloud provisioning. None of the organizations that I spoke to in these last 4 years have been relying on only one cloud service provider. So whether you want to do a hybrid cloud, whether you want to do a multi-cloud orchestration, or whether you want to do a simple shifting of data from X location to Y, break away from the traditional mechanism and come into a mechanism which is more easier, faster, efficient, and hassle-free as well, is where we bring in the ease of doing business. Along with this, we also have the third service which we recently launched, which is Microsoft Azure Peering Services. So the thumb rule is today that the moment I use internet, 9 out of 10 times I've seen a friends or colleagues shutting off the video because of jitter, because of an issue in communicating, the voice doesn't flow through right. That is typically because they are on an open internet. Here, with Maps, the entire software as a suite is set up across the cloud infrastructure, where we've built a co-working, I would say co-researched offering called as Maps, wherein you almost have like a secure pipe, a secure connect between your infrastructure and the cloud services on the other side from Microsoft, as a result of which you get benefited by about 90% improvement in latency, along with other benefits like security, scalability, robustness, and better ROIs also, uh, in terms of the service provider and in terms of the customer as well. So these are a multitude of services that are today at the disposal of our customers, both in terms of the internet service providers and in terms of SMEs and enterprises.
I mean, while you were explaining, and considering you lead the entire piece here in India,
Mhm.
uh, and so how does a leader like yourself, in a sense, focus on delivering value to the customers every day? In the sense, uh, uh, how large is your team? What are your key responsibilities, etc., etc.? Do you have a fairly large team which does lot of this on ground work? How does operations at DE-CIX work?
So we are structured in a very flat organization mechanism, wherein you have uh, me leading the business here for India and SAARC countries, and we have a CIO slash CTO who, for obvious purposes, that there are a lot of challenges that you have in terms of regulations that we manage, being the only legally compliant organization to start off with, um, working out of Delhi. So we have the tech team, we have the sales and operations team, we have our finance and deliverable team, and there is a significant amount of backend team as well, and obviously marketing and alliance managed by a very sharp and a small team that we have based out here in Mumbai. So we are located across four geographies, if you say so. Mumbai, Delhi, Kolkata, and Chennai, where our staffs typically are operating out of Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, and Chennai. Kolkata, we've kept it as of now on hold for some time. And what we've been able to see is each team member has the ability to translate his or her input into the other team's welfare and efficiency. And as a result of bringing in a cohesive work environment, we've been able to, uh, you know, bring up some fabulous results that has been unprecedented in our business, at least in the first 36 months of operation. If I have to take January 2020 as the start date, and some phenomenal numbers got reported by this uh, uh, team, which typically I call as the a tip of the arrow, which built the rocket ship, so to speak.
Wow. Yeah. And how large or big the market of interconnection platform is in India, and do you see, you mentioned growth, and do you see it growing further, it becoming mainstream tech, quote unquote, as we go along?
Well, it's about time that a lot of organizations on the other side, which have got benefited, start speaking about the value that we've been able to bring to them, not only here in India but globally as well. But tongue in cheek, I can tell you that uh, uh, for whatever reasons best known to them, a lot of organizations today take a lot of time to come out with testimonials, if you want to call them so, and help the larger community in general to see how this cutting edge technology at a very, very affordable price has been able to help them in their digital transformation journey and help them accelerate their um, endeavors and get them faster go to market by 50%, better results, better prices. But if I look at the market, I think looking at it from both connectivity standpoint and from a standpoint of B2B, which is helping out other telcos, data center providers, and all is concerned, we, in spite of the tremendous unprecedented growth that we've seen, I think we've still scratched the surface. With due humility, if I have to tell you so, with the availability of time, the kind of spread that we have, and the kind of ability to connect a customer across Asia Pacific region, then come to SARC and within India at the pace at which we are doing, is like, while other internet exchanges are doing that internet exchange business, our business starts from internet exchange and extends to a lot of other services that become value added services and main lead services also for a lot of organizations. So if you I'm sure you are aware of the kind of tremendous investments that have come in today in the data center industry, and it's exhilarating to note how each and every organization, whether it is based out of India or based out of any corner of the world, has been able to understand and appreciate the catalytic uh, value prop that an organization like DE-CIX brings to the table. And that has been one of the guiding forces which has made a lot of new gen DC providers to start engaging with us, as they start engaging with the government for procurement of land and all those 30-40 licenses that they need and stuff like that. So I think uh, it's a great time to be in this business from an interconnection platform standpoint. And I think from a connectivity point of view, just to give you an understanding, uh, today there are about 6 lakh odd villages. The India that we know about is like 4 metros, 5 sub metros, and maybe upcoming towns. But we have in totality about 6 lakh 20,000. About 6 lakh villages, out of which what 2 lakh 60,000 is what we've been able to connect as a country. So the headroom for us as a country to spread dependable connectivity is tremendous, and the kind of value prop that we bring to the table and the collaborative nature of our working leads me to believe that next 5 years, whether it is connectivity in the interlands or the mini metros and the sub metros, or whether it is with organizations who are building up data centers and mid-sized firms which are coming up with uh, edge locations and doing a fabulous job, being the unsung heroes in a couple of cases that I have seen. Uh, it's an exciting and exhilarating place to be in from an interconnection platform standpoint.
Right. Um, and there has been this global trend of sorts that a lot of uh, uh, organizations, including the tech companies, are being impacted by especially what's happening in an AI, framework and ecosystem. Where do you stand there? Are you entirely dependent upon what's happening across the globe, especially in the realm of generative AI? Will it ever be impacting what you are delivering to the customers here?
If and when it does, it's always gonna be on the positive side, and we've already seen, by virtue of being thought leaders and market leaders across the globe and being headquartered out of Germany, our colleagues have already started interacting with those folks who have been using test cases to see how these new gen services are going to be helping a transformation take place, where probably organizations will have 50% faster go to market. And I would think that it has the potential of probably increasing profitability, which a lot of people wouldn't speak in these stages, in the range of about 40% in the next 5 to 10 years. So that's the potential that we see. And we've seen that if slow is broken, then we are there where the speed and latency is concerned. So one of the key enablers for us is how AI is going to help company achieve their various KPIs. And here we are at the forefront of having that global cutting edge technology deployed at our end to deploy and be future proof in terms of being available for that use cases that might come up in the near future. I mean, I was speaking to someone recently, and they were telling me that their organization is now going to adopt the same processes to do their research, and this was a healthcare company, which otherwise would have taken so much time that their back of the envelope calculation said that we've been able to do stuff 1,000 times faster because we've introduced AI to a certain extent in our R&D process. So, I mean, we are at the right place at the right time, and having built a legacy, I think it's about time for us to be able to be at the forefront of serving these kind of necessities that comes to play.
Right. And you basically very briefly, broadly touched upon. Do you, considering you've been leader for almost 30 years in the space from a working, do you see the realm of leadership, your thought processes, etc., are now being changed every 2 years because of this emerging technologies taking over? So your decision making, from a leadership standpoint, is also getting affected.
Well, not much with our point, and if I have to call out for my own thing, anecdotally, if I have to say so, when I joined in, and I normally would make in my annual operating plans in the month of Feb, so that from our fiscal standpoint, by end of 31st of March, you're already done and dusted in terms of what you're going to be doing in the coming year. So the first year, based on data again, you build a atrociously ambitious plan of doing 2.5 times of what you thought your organization had done earlier to you coming in. And then, of course, you know what happens after that. So people say, oh, this is impossible. This doesn't happen anywhere. This is not the way the business has the ability to scale, move. Voila, at the end of 31st March, we ended up doing 378% of the AOP that we built. So, and every year we've been doing the surpassing of what people think is what can be done and what we've seen as the market, and take ambitious leaps, sometimes actually reinvent the method in which you are wanting to go and serve your customers. A lot of firsts that we've done. So, like I told you some time back, some of the numbers that we've quoted, and I wouldn't want to put it up publicly, are tremendously unbelievable, because those kind of numbers don't happen in the interconnection business, not only in our organization, but across within the industry per se. You know, if I have to give you a scale, like we were at about 74 odd customers in December 2019, and today we are at 615. So this kind of a steep hockey stick typically has been unprecedented. So I'm sure whatever more is going to come in terms of tools which are available for us to make the right kind of decisions, we will take into play. But as of today, we are well aligned in terms of how to maintain this unassailable lead and take it further.
Sure. The last very philosophical question, and considering we're speaking to a leader, uh, have you felt, or are you foreseeing the role of leaders, be it developers, marketers, whomsoever you want to kind of pinpoint at, changing and becoming a little tougher, redundant, better by this whole technology that's coming in? So, for an example, lot of I came from media background. Lot of media journalists are finding it tough to compete with robots writing stories. In a sense, do you foresee something like this happening in not in the industry at large, but consider in the industry that you are in?
So, see, that is a threat that is there always. A clear and present danger across verticals is that if you are not going to be staying relevant and ride the wave that is going to be coming in, and put in those kind of efforts to be ahead of the curve, irrespective of what is coming your way, and you don't have a student for life kind of approach, while one does coaching, grooming, mentoring, and taking the team along with you and all that, that normally is expected out of each leader to be doing. But if you don't have the foresight, vision, and the backup plan to be able to see what's coming and work in accordance with that, the threat will definitely be there. While jovially people say that AI is going to take away jobs, but I think people who know how to use AI will be the ones who will ensure that they create more jobs, and to be able to incorporate each and every new gen tech that comes into their own functions and roles and become better professionals. And that is where I think the leaders will also play a role, where they will be able to first comprehend what is available as a resource for them and their teams, and then put it to the right use for execution to orchestrate success over a period of time.
Right. I mean, you again touched upon my very absolute, in a sense, last question to you. How important, and you mentioned how important is upskilling for existing workforce, for leaders like yourself, uh, in this era wherein in a sense, quote unquote, technology would eventually eat up jobs. How much value as an organization, as an industry leader, are you, and has that value increased in last 5 years or so?
Oh, absolutely. And I've always considered myself to be a people's person, and I always believe that people matter the most. They come first in anything that you do. So even in our case, for example, whatever we were able to achieve in the first 36 plus months, we were able to achieve absolutely with the same set of people. We didn't lose anybody, we didn't add anybody. So uh, I have always been able to get the right interventions in terms of identifying what is needed for this particular team member to be able to get to the next level. What is the time frame? Have those conversations, and then push, nudge, and guide him into sometime forcefully do those uh, courses which we enroll them into or get them comfortable with, as a result of which we've seen those outputs coming in as well with key members in the team. uh, like it or not, COVID gave a lot of people a lot of spare bandwidth, and it's upon individuals how they would want to use it. So I was able to put that to great use with my team by putting them onto a lot of online courses at that point of time. The ability to choose the right fit for that person and then go revisit it and see what he's been able to do. And ever since, one has seen over an industry perspective also, knowing a lot of people within the L&D training and development organizations, uh, last 2 years at least has seen a explosion, if I have to say so, in terms of organizations at senior level also getting reskilled, retrained, reoriented towards how the current and the going time that's going to come is supposed to be faced. So I think what you're saying is bang on, and fortunately, a lot of organizations are aligned towards it and taking the right actions towards it.
Yeah, and we know a lot of organizations which unfortunately have not done so, and therefore I think a leader like yourself at the helm will always uh, steer the ship in a right direction. It's an absolute delight to have spoken with you today. Thank you so much for your time. I take this opportunity to wish you a great start to 2024, and
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure connecting with you.
right.
Thank you very much, and wish you all a very happy new year in advance. Thanks so
Thank you
much.
so much. Bye.